A smart home is not always about turning things on and off or keeping an eye on things with cameras. Sometimes it's about being comfortable in your home and knowing what's going on. To do that, you need something to track your home's temperature and humidity. That's where the Tapo T310 and T315 come in. Whether you need something with a screen or one that is simpler to place, Tapo has you covered. I will be going over everything from setup to what you can do in the application. I'm Wanderer 001. We have a lot to cover. Let's get into it. Starting things off, there are similarities between these two devices. First being, they do require the Tapo H100 hub in order to work. These do not communicate directly with your smartphone over Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. They communicate with the hub. Let's start things off with the T315 here. First, you're looking at a device that is 2.4 by 2.4 by 0.96, so just shy of being an inch in width. And the most impressive part is actually the screen. Not necessarily what you see on the screen, but what the screen is. And that is, this is not an LCD screen. This is an e-ink screen. So you might notice as these numbers are changing, because right there at the top, that's where the actual sensor is. So it's picking up the temperature and humidity from me holding it. But as you see the numbers change, you'll notice that there's a little odd look to it. And that's because of the e-ink display. E-ink helps to save on battery power by only powering the numbers and icons the first time around. One other benefit of e-ink is the visibility. You can pretty much see that from just about any angle and not have to worry about a glare. In fact, here's some glare. That's from the spotlight that I use when I'm filming these. And you can see the e-ink does a very good job of preventing glare. Speaking of our screen, up at the top here, we have an icon for linked. That means it's linked to the home hub. Next to that is our battery life indicator. And to the right of that is our comfort setting. Right now it is set for comfort. If it's not comfortable at all, it will be a frowny face. We have our temperature up here and our humidity. Now, over on the right-hand side, there is a toggle. And if I toggle this, we can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius without having to go through the app. So I greatly appreciate that. If we flip things to the bottom, there is a little foot right there, allowing you to have it up. It's not rubberized in any way, shape, or form. It's not really gonna keep this from sliding around on you. At the top, this is where our sensor is located. And if we flip things around to the back, there is a back plate here, which houses 2 AAA batteries, which are included, which is great, and should last you quite a long time considering that e-ink display. The back is also magnetized, so if you wanted to stick this somewhere, you could do so very easily. Now, as we move on to the smaller and slightly more versatile of the two sensors, you have a 1x8 by 1x8 by 0.48 sensor. It really doesn't have a lot to look at. Up at the front here, you could see some Tapo branding. There is your battery open. You'll have to pop that out, just make it a little easier. That is your sensor opening. It does have a little lanyard that you can attach to place this easier. I have this hanging off a light in my bathroom because that's the most humid place that I could think of, and I wanted to test this out. The sensor itself is powered by a single coin battery, a CR2450, which is fairly common and easy to find, so you don't have to worry about not being able to pick one up at your local store should you need to replace the battery. Now that we've taken a look at the differences between these two, again, very, very small sensors, let's talk about things that they share in common. First being, the sensor has a read interval of every 2 seconds, if you set it that way. It can be longer if you want to preserve the battery, but if you want the most up-to-date data, you can set that to go off every 2 seconds and send that information. Your measurement accuracy is between 0.5 degree Fahrenheit and 3% RH. That's going to be for your humidity. Speaking of our ranges, humidity range is between 0 and 99% RH, and temperature values are between -4 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So you do get a nice wide range there of being able to tell just what's going on in your home. If you're looking for voice assistants, these are compatible with both Alexa and Google Assistant. Now that we've talked our technical specs, what's next? Well, that's going to be setup. Each of them have a slightly different setup process. So let me show you what those were like. This will be a setup of Tapo 315 environmental sensor. First and foremost, we open the back up. We're going to put in our AAA batteries, close things up, come up, select add new device. This is a sensor. Here's our 315. We do have to have the H100. So we're going to say add. Batteries are installed already. There's a pairing button on the side. Going to press and hold. Yep. There's our chain for it's blinking. We're going to do that. And it's going to talk to the hub downstairs. We're going to give that a moment to get situated. And there we go. What are we going to name it? We're just going to leave it as is. Where is this going to be located? This is going to be in the basement. And then we can select an image for this. There really isn't one for the sensor. So we're just going to leave it as that and check for firmware. No firmware, so it's all done. And here is our sensor, all connected. This is setup of Tapo sensor T310. Come up, hit the plus sign, add device. This is a sensor. This is the 310. We have to attach it to our hub, the H100. Next, we're going to remove the tape. See, it's blinking. Yes, it's blinking. LED is blinking, and now it's going to go talk to the hub. We'll leave that named as is, and we will pick a location. That's it, talking to the Alex A. We're going to put that in the office. It wants us to pick an image for this. I'm going to pick something weird so I know what it is. There we go. Pick something like that. Check for firmware. Firmware's fine. There we go. It's online. Don't forget to set your comfort settings, but that was setup. With setup out of the way, we move on to home automation, such as automatically turning on and off a humidifier or dehumidifier based on temperature and humidity readings, or maybe flashing a light if the temperature in an area gets too hot. That's all done through the application. And what I will say is the actual application for the two is exactly the same. So let me show you what that looks like. Here we can see a little information before we even click into it. We have an icon. We can see the current temperature, the humidity, the name of the device, as well as its location. If I select on this, it's going to let me come into it. At the top, we have the name, its location, the current temperature, and humidity. Coming down, we have a temperature guide. Here we can see these spikes in red. That indicates that it is outside my preset comfort, and you have that for temperature and humidity. If we come back up here, I can select view all, which will show me a month view, a year view, and a day view. And notice in the corner here, we have the ability to download all of this, and it even breaks down the information that you can send, intervals, things of that nature, but it also shows your email, and there's no way to get rid of that, so I can't show you that screen. If we come down here, we have our smart actions. Selecting this by default, it is saying, hey, here's a thing for a humidifier. So if you have too much humidity, you can turn one on and remove the humidity. Now, you can select involve, which will allow you to add smart devices. Or if we come back to recommended up at the top here, we can create our own smart action based on an if this, then that scenario. If we come down, we have shared this device. Selecting that share icon will allow you to input somebody's email. They do need to have their own Tapo account in order to share this device with them. We have our support center. This is going to show you user manual product information for this device. And then under that, we have our favorite. Favorite is whether it will show up on your favorite screen when you first log into your Tapo app. Coming up here to the upper right-hand corner, this is our settings. We can change our device icon. We can change our device name. We can change our device location. We also have the ability to change the temperature units. Make sure to come in here because by default, it's going to be on Celsius if you're in the Fahrenheit world. Just under that, we have our operational mode. That's going to be high sensitivity versus low sensitivity. This, you need 0.5 degree and 3% change in humidity for data to be sent. This one, almost a full degree and 6% humidity change before it will send information. Just under that, we have our comfort range. So here you can set temperature, what you want it to be the max, what you want it to be the lowest, and you have your plus and minus. And then we have a reminder. If you turn this on, it will send a push notification to you if it makes it outside of your range. You also have the ability to do that for your humidity and set a reminder. So if you just want temperature reminders, you can do that instead of having for both humidity and temperature, which is appreciated. Here we have our effective range test. So this will allow you to double check and make sure that your sensor is close enough to the actual hub that it will push information to it. Here we have our placement guide. Again, where do you need to put this in order for it to talk to the hub? We have our user manual. This is exactly what comes in the box, but if you happen to lose it, it's good that you have a digital copy of it. We have another location for our smart actions, as we discussed before, that if this then that scenario. We have our device information, lots of sensitive information in there, won't be showing you that. Just under that, we have our firmware. If you need to update your firmware, simply come in here and update your firmware. And then last, at the bottom of this list, we have remove this device, which will remove this device from your Tapo app. And that has been everything that we can do for the Tapo T310 in the Tapo app. Now, aside from having fun of triggering routines based on humidity and temperature, for those data people such as myself, you did see the line charts, and I mentioned that you can export. You can actually export data from these into a CSV file that you can look at and keep for your records. There are a lot of things that I like about devices like this, but that doesn't mean that they are not without their cons. First and foremost, these require a hub, and I have tested other ones that did not require a hub, so that's the first thing. Second thing, the magnet on this is kind of finicky depending on what you're attaching it to. I had it slide off of some things, other times it grabbed on without having a problem. And the last con that I could come up with for this is you really need to be in the Tapo universe to take full advantage of these. Meaning, because you need a Tapo hub, you need other Tapo devices in order for this to actually do the automation more simply. If you wanted to run this through Google or Amazon to run an automation, that's going to add extra layers and extra steps that you might not want to take instead of just creating them within the Tapo application. With all that being said, knowing the temperature and humidity in your home is important. Yes, there are thermostats and sensors that connect to them you could get, but if you don't want to upgrade your thermostat and you just want to know this kind of data in a more movable device, placing it where it's needed, then something like the Tapo T310 and Tapo T315 could be what you're looking for. Whether you need something with a screen or something that can be placed just about anywhere, then either would be a good option, especially if you have other Tapo devices and want to set up actions that happen based on readings that you get from these. I personally enjoy the fact that I have mine hanging in the bathroom, letting me know just how humid it gets in there. And likewise, I like being able to walk past this one when I'm in my basement because my thermostat is on a separate wall and doesn't have a large digital readout, so I can just look at this to see what's going on down there. Because of that, I can recommend either or both if you're looking for a temperature and humidity sensor. If these environmental sensors sound like what you've been looking for, I will have a link where you can pick them up for yourself in the description area below. If you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making comprehensive videos like this, make sure to hit that like button to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Still not sure these are the right environmental sensors for you? On screen now, you'll see 2 other reviews that I've done to help you make a more informed decision for yourself.